the contemporary city with the living history. Of the ancient history you still carry in your womb, and of the mythology that lingers over your town squares and streets that bustle with shops, offices, hotels of many stars, houses alive with inhabitants, your children working, producing, creating, and dreaming. Pafos, Aphrodite's birthplace, the goddess of love who arrived at the shores of Pafos on the sea foam as Hesiod recorded. Of Aphrodite who took pity on Pygmalion and gave him Galatea. 2 children they had, Metharme and Pafos. The son of Pafos was Cinyras, who built a sanctuary dedicated to Aphrodite and founded the city with your name 1,200 years before Christ was born. Cypriot goddess, Homer commemorated you in his epic works of the conquerors of Troy. Since then, the Greek civilization took root on your land. We know, however, that you were inhabited long before then. It's revealed by the archaeological findings in the Paphian land. Archaeologists studied them and marveled at the discovery. They're the remains of a settlement dating back to the Chalcolithic age. You had your little harbor during Alexander the Great's reign, your little harbor which still remains despite the passing of so many centuries. You were a kingdom under the glorious King Nicocles. It was he who moved the capital of the kingdom and founded the city of Pafos, the new Pafos. It was he who established the use of the Greek alphabet and greatly contributed to your civilization. But Nicocles was your last king, for he did not compromise when you were besieged by the Ptolemies, the Greek rulers of Egypt, and they conquered you, as they did the entire island. It was you the Ptolemies chose to be the capital city of Cyprus. And of the Roman governors you were the seat, with temples, villas, palaces, a theatre, and an Odeon. Much was destroyed by earthquakes, but some remained intact, as they withstood the shaking of the earth to remind us of your accomplishments' glory. The seed of a new religion was sown on your land by holy apostles. In 45 AD, Christ's disciples, Paul and Mark, to Christian Cyprus came. St. Paul became a martyr. He was tied to a pillar and flogged by the Roman governor himself. 40-1 times the whip tore the flesh of St. Paul, yet he did not yield. He maintained his faith in Christ and passed it on to your people. A royal estate you became during medieval times, a fief of the royals. And that is what everybody called you, Ctima, the estate. Lusignan conquerors built a castle in your harbor, but it was destroyed by the new rulers, the Venetians. They erected another castle, a sturdier and bigger one, which included crenellations. However, the fortress was not impenetrable enough to keep the hordes of invaders away. The Ottomans raided you and the entire island in 1571. The island was plunged into darkness, unbearable slavery, daily struggle for survival against illnesses, hunger, and deprivation. 3 centuries and 7 years passed. The year was 1878 when you were handed over to the British colonialists. You were destitute. Yet, you found the courage to rise again and strive towards the light. You were guided by scholars of letters, art, and culture. They built schools, neoclassical institutes to remind you of your ancestral roots. They are your pride, as is your municipal library, which took its name from your mayor, poet Christodoulos Galatopoulos, your town hall, which was built after the destructive earthquakes of 1953, as was Kostis Palamas Square. In the entire Greek world, you are the only city that honors the Greek poet annually, the poet of motionless life and the 12 lays of the gypsy, the poet who reminisced, in Cyprus the ethereal, blissful land, the pure soul has not faded, but it lives on and on and on. Blissful land of Pafos, your mansions stand unyielding next to the apartment blocks, your contemporary public buildings next to the stone buildings left behind by British colonialism. Your picturesque hostels in the old town with the seaside luxury hotels. Your taverns exude the aroma of traditional food, and restaurants offer culinary experiences from every country. You are no longer the remote, isolated and forgotten town, the one which required patience for somebody to visit through rugged roads. Wide intercity highways and roads connect you to other cities. You have your own airport that constantly brings millions of tourists from overseas to admire you. You created town squares. You transformed the old, dilapidated buildings into centers of culture and event venues. And you looked your best during the Cultural Capital of Europe in 2017. Ibrahim's Khan no longer hosts tired and worn-out travelers carrying merchandise on camels and horses. Here, artists and craftsmen display their work. Art and culture connect and build bridges. The Atticon, your old cinema, gave many a night of joy to your citizens, new experiences from the majestic world of the big screen and also of the theatre.
Τι ωραίο το λιμανάκι της Πάφου. Κάποιον μου είπε είναι στη Τινίδα, στην Πάφο. Εκεί θα πάμε. Στην Πάφο, τρέλα!
It looks different now, with a new breath of life, maintaining its original name. It hosts theatrical plays and events. A special gem, a temple of culture, your Markidion Municipal Theatre. In its place stood the famed Xena Cinema, which was later renovated and became the Markidion Theatre in memory of Sotirakis Markidis' eternal generosity. Your old powerhouse gave light through electricity. Now, it also gives light, but through the power of literature and the arts. Your harbour and your castle fill with operatic melodies, as opera has become a famous event for music lovers. In your ancient Odeon, the timeless truths of Aristophanes, Euripides, Aeschylus and Sophocles still resonate and merge with theatrical creations of today. Tradition runs through your veins, a memory of the past and a vision for the future. With your Flower Festival and your Kataklismos Festival that hails from the ancient custom of worshipping the goddess of Paphos, Aphrodite, with your carnival, your theatre productions, and your concerts. My Pafos, my beautiful city, stoic and proud. You are indeed the small city with the great history.